Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of My Grue Rume Show. For the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest. He's an actor, a director, a writer, a producer, and I'm talking about Kabir McNeely. Kabir McNeely. If I said your name wrong, I apologize. And we're going to talk about his new film called Fallaway, and it's his first feature film that he wrote and made and directed and produced. And it's going to be a fun time. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you can already tell. I am the host of the Grue Rume Show, and my interview with Kabar will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Rume, and as always, my Gruelings. Welcome. All right, welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for being my guest and coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. I guess like the first question I want to ask you before we start talking about the film is basically like what drew you to want to act and now like write and make films?
Yeah, funnily enough, I was forced into it. Yeah, you hear so many childhood stories of people who just got bit by the bug and they found it on their own. But for me, I was very antisocial as a little kid, and I didn't do sports.
Hmm.
I tried, but I could not score a goal to save my life. So um, my dad said they wanted me to do something collaborative and learn to
Hmm.
be a team player. So they signed me up for a theater class, and I'm dragging my feet the whole way there. I did not want to go. And then I went and I came back home. My parents said, "So you're an actor now?" I said, "No, I'm not an actor." And then maybe about 3 or 4 classes into it, I fell in love with it.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. And when you decided to like jump in it and like want to start making shorts and want to get involved with like film and everything, how was the move to California like? Like were you nervous to like to to jump in California and try to get your like name known?
Well, I grew up in San Francisco,
Oh, you did.
so
Okay.
I love California, and I visited LA pretty much every year, sometimes several times a year. And by the time I was in high school, my dads really made it a point because they knew I was destined for LA. So they really made it a point to send me to LA boarding camps and schedule,
Oh,
because I have
wow.
family in LA, schedule all the family visits possible. So really, by the time I was 18, I had been spending, usually at least a month, if not more, every year in LA. So it actually felt like a
Wow.
natural move.
Okay. And like when you started like doing like I see you've done like a whole bunch of shorts. Like what was the first like short that you that got everything started?
I mean, really, the very first one. I remember, I don't even know if it's still publicly available, but there was a short directed by this UC Berkeley uh, college student at the time, Avi, and he casted me. And I remember I was only on set for a short time, and I had, I believe, 3 scenes in the short.
Okay.
But I knew since then I had such a fun time. I think you just know when
Oh
you
yeah,
found something.
definitely. And with this. this film, your brand new film, like what inspired you to want to write and direct it and produce it and star in it?
Yes, yes. I would say for me, it started because I'd been doing um, a lot of bit level roles. Sometimes I'd get, a good supporting part. And so I really wanted to challenge myself to see if I was capable of carrying a movie. Because apart from a short film I did called My Name Is Moe, I'd never really done that. And so it started just as an experiment. I started writing. I didn't really know what it was going to be about or what it was going to be. And I think over time, I just started to fall in love with the story. It was actually the first script that I had written myself that I really, really felt invested to actually do the rewriting and rewriting. Um, I think it's an issue that means so much to me. And so I guess it started as a thought experiment and it became something way more personal than I ever thought.
Oh, wow. And you had such an amazing cast, and how did you wind up like finding all these great pe people in your film?
Yeah, I worked with a casting director, Danny Lay,
Hmm.
and what we've decided very early, because a lot of the characters are very young, and we definitely don't have the budget to seek out child stars or teen stars, and so we realized very early we have to cast based on personality,
Yeah.
not looking for someone with 10 years of training at whatever kid acting school. And so a lot of people in the movie, they just are like their character and they really embody what I envisioned when I wrote it. And so that's really what we were in search of. And then they could be themselves.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what I love about like any kind of film, even television shows, I love the score, the music, because that brings the mood.
Yes.
And how did you know the sound that you wanted for this film?
I mean, I took a lot of inspiration from these more indie thrillery films, such as, We Need to Talk About Kevin. Fuzzyhead was a big one for me. A lot of David Lynch's work.
Yeah.
And I made sure very early to bring on a music supervisor and several consultants because, I'm much more experienced in front of the camera. And I think knowing where your weaknesses are and
Mhm.
finding other people who can execute what you want is really, really important.
Nice. And like, did you feel like any pressure? Like this is the the first film like that you're making, that you're writing, like this is yours. Like was there any pressure to make make the film and like how it looks for the people watching it?
I mean, I'd done a couple shorts that I had also written and directed, and so
Mhm.
thankfully it wasn't like the first set I had ever run. Uh, that would be probably a disaster if it was. But thankfully there were a couple lessons I had already learned. But yeah, I would say it was an enormous pressure, mainly because of how passionate I was about the script as I was writing it, and just not wanting to mess it up.
Yeah. And in the film, like we see Caden, and he definitely like seems like a person who's a little lost, and so is Giovanni too. And Caden joins the Bible group, and he meets Giovanni at church, at the church, the Bible group. And what makes them form like that strong bond? Like as soon as Caden and Giovanni meet, like you can tell, like they're they have that bond there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're both, as you said, very lost.
Hmm.
You know, Caden has not had this connection before. And I think it's something really intuitive. I mean, you just know. You just know when you like someone
Yeah,
and when there's something special. And, you know, Giovanni lost something enormous with his relationship with Houston. You know, really, if they had just let him and Houston be, this whole thing that happened would not really have needed to happen. And I think he's really looking for someone who can be for him what Houston was for him. And I think Caden has that kind of softness, and he's really charming. And I think Giovanni just can't help but fall in love with that.
definitely, yes. And like you and Christian, who plays Caden, like you both have like this amazing on-screen chemistry. And how did you two build build on that?
I would say, I mean, Danny, who was the casting director, also agreed to coach us together
Oh,
through many rehearsals. So most of the actors I had not met prior to the shoot in person, but both Christian and I kind of insisted we wanted to meet before jumping into this. Thank God we did. And so Danny coached us through so many different exercises, and we did read throughs of the script together, and also just went out for food.
oh, nice.
One time we went out and got boba together. And so by the time we were on set, I think there was that, I mean, not that we were into each other in that way, but there was that kind of friendship.
Nice. Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mean, you can definitely tell like by watching the film like that you and him definitely are good with one another. Like it can chemistry just flows. And and in the film, like I know the film isn't out yet. I really don't want to give like a lot away, but Caden's like the one who wants it to be like more than friends, and like there's so much stuff circling around them. Like Giovanni has this crazy father, and the the pastor's strict, and the faith, the church, family, and it's like a big struggle that like a lot of like young queer people face, like because this happens all the all the time, and there's like a lot of of queer people that are growing up, and they don't know, like they're trying to figure out life and figure out where they stand and the person that 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 they want to be, and the feelings. And it's sometimes hard because, especially if you have like a strong background in faith or family, you would know that won't accept it. And how do you feel about that? Like, about how this like film is basically like a lot of stuff that's going on now with like young queer people trying to find themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there's so many stories of queer youth. You know, Matthew Shepard comes to mind first and foremost. You know, Bobby Griffith, which are just absolutely heartbreaking. And I, if there's anything I hope that parents of LGBT youth might take away from this if they watch it, is to just allow their child to be themselves. You know, I mean, thankfully, Caden's parents seem to be better in that regard,
Yeah.
and Giovanni's parents.
Woo.
I mean, David and Lisa, who played Giovanni's parents, are brilliant
Yeah,
actors. Um, the characters are crazy, though.
they are.
But in all seriousness, I do hope that parents who watch this will, I don't want to say accept, because I know acceptance, it's challenging when you grew up a certain way and in certain value systems, and it takes a while. But you know, I think love is really important. That you love your kid, even if it takes you a while to understand them, or to really really accept who they are.
I'm not definitely like I would love to see that happen more, because I see that happen a lot. Like when some parents don't want their kids to be a certain way, and they kind of like force what life is supposed to be, like man and woman, kids, and this and that, and then like there's like a lot of people too with church, and they're afraid they're gonna sin because church preaches a certain thing too, and it would be good to like finally like see like people more accepting, like from parents to churches, like just to make the young people feel welcomed.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. And is there like a certain scene in this film that you had the most fun shooting?
Yes. There's a scene between Giovanni and Houston. So for context, all the scenes between Giovanni and Houston were shot second unit, because originally Houston was not in the script. And
Oh,
we figured out really early on that in order to really grasp what Giovanni has sacrificed, you have to experience the love that Gio and Houston had firsthand, not just Giovanni talking about it with Caden. And so we wrote scenes and actually shot those scenes in LA and tried to make it
nice.
look like San Francisco. But because of that, there was much less crew. So I know for me, I was way less self-conscious, and it just felt more intimate. And there's a scene, it's only in the movie for about 5 seconds, but where Angus, who plays Houston, just impromptu just twirled me around in a circle, and then we cheers and I just laugh into it. It was so fun because it felt fully spontaneous,
Yeah.
fully in the moment, and I felt really, really supported by my scene partner.
Oh, wow. Was there any funny or cool stories from filming this from the set?
I mean, it's such a dark story
Oh,
throughout. It's
yeah.
not very, it wasn't always fun to film it, just being in that headspace so much.
Mhm.
I guess a cool story maybe. So there's a scene where Giovanni gets baptized, and I did not realize when writing that scene that we would have to treat it like a stunt. And then close to production, as we start preparing, someone said, no, you're going to have to be fully submerged underwater and blow bubbles into the camera. And I mean, that's what you wrote, right? And I said, yeah, I know I have to be fully submerged, but that doesn't feel like such a big deal. And they said, no, if you breathe incorrectly, like that could go seriously wrong.
Oh,
And I was like,
no.
what? And so I realized only a little bit before shooting that the baptism would be a stunt.
Mm.
And so I had someone like all CPR trained right behind the camera, coaching me how to breathe. And because to me, I'm like, this is just a simple baptism. It can't be that hard. And they're like, you're submerged underwater. So that was incredibly difficult. Thank God we treated it like a stunt because the very first take, I breathed incorrectly.
No.
And I come out just coughing salt water, and everybody there, the pastor and Giovanni's dad, I know they look mean on camera, but they're actually the sweetest. And they're both just so worried for me, especially David. It was almost as if he was my real dad, how worried he was.
Oh my God. Well, I'm happy to see everything went good and you're here to tell about it.
Yes.
And when you aren't filming, what do you like doing during your free time?
Gosh, I had a feeling this question come up, and I kept
Oh,
I've been thinking about an answer to make myself sound like really well-rounded, and I was gonna come up with a lie and say like, oh, I love tennis and cooking, but in reality, Fallaway has been my life for the last year.
oh yeah.
Um, I mean, I love going out on walks. I think that's a great way to just be creative and in solitude and kind of meditate. And that's really what I would say.
Okay, okay. And I'm a huge horror fan. So we are in Halloween season. Are there any horror films that you like to watch?
Oh my God, I love horror films, much to my parents' chagrin. Um, I I mean, look, I even like kind of like stupid or funny or like those so bad it's good horror films. Like I loved Cocaine Bear. I think
Mhm.
the monkey is
Yes.
hilarious and I love it. Tatiana Maslany should get Best Supporting Actress for that movie. She's so good. Um, but yeah,
Definitely.
and then there are the classics like Halloween. So fun.
I mean, like every Halloween season, you have to watch a couple
Like,
Halloween films because like that puts you in the mood.
oh my God. Absolutely. No, I love it. I even love like non-horror-ish Halloween, like Hocus
Mhm.
Pocus is a classic. Classic.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Do you have like any Halloween plans, like any parties or going to any haunted houses or anything?
I don't know because it's now that I live in LA, I have to, I don't know the Halloween scene in LA yet.
Okay.
I'm still kind of figuring it out. But,
Well, they're probably gonna have something.
they better. I mean,
And what about songs? Like, what kind of music do you like? Like, what's on your playlist?
Nirvana.
Nice,
Anything Nirvana.
nice. They're an amazing band. Oh my God.
What's
Yeah,
your favorite
definitely,
Nirvana
definitely.
song?
Actually, come as you are. Like, I love that song.
Oh,
And
okay.
in in Bloom was another one. Like, I love how that song sounded.
I wanted to see if we had the same favorite because I've yet to meet someone who has my favorite.
Oh wait, really? Which one is yours?
Territorial Pissings.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I know that song. Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, mostly like everyone says, "Smells like Teen Spirit." That's the
Oh,
easy
yeah.
answer.
But everyone says that. So
I
that's,
know exactly. What do you think would be your go-to karaoke song if you were going to do one? Will you sing one of Nirvana's, like if you're doing karaoke?
oh my God. I do not sing. If you watch, all you need to do is watch the end of My Name Is Moe, and everyone thinks I'm like trying to do a bad job as part of the character, and that was me doing my best effort. So, uh, I don't sing. Um, maybe tequila just as a joke, just because
Yeah,
I'd have to say 3 words, and everyone else would just
exactly. That's like
what?
the easiest song to sing.
You don't sing it, you just say tequila.
I know, but yeah, that's so easy.
Or some like
I'm
Rihanna or Taylor Swift song where you know the background track is gonna overpower you anyway, you know, with all their backup vocals.
definitely. I like I like doing songs that like everybody knows because like I'll start it and then I don't even have to sing it because it like the crowd's like singing
Oh,
along.
that is a good idea. Wait, so what song?
You know, don't don't stop believing journey like
I need to take your advice. That is so everyone just starts singing along with you.
as soon as they hear the notes to that song, like they're like
Oh
he
my
takes the night. Yeah, they just sing like the whole entire song, and you don't even like you could just like start moving your mouth, and they'll think that you're singing because they're like drowning you out because they're singing it.
God. I would never have thought is genius.
That's definitely one of them. And like another good one is living on a prayer, Bon Jovi. Like that's another song. Like as soon as people hear that, like they know like every single word to that song.
Yeah, that is really, really good. I would not. I didn't. I don't know. I haven't really seen people sing along to others in karaoke, so I never would have thought of that. But that is genius. Oh my God.
And I guess like the last thing I'll ask you is where could fans watch the film and follow you at?
Yes, it's playing in San Francisco right now until October 16th, three showtimes a day. And now we have started submitting it to festivals, so it's not widely released yet. But you can find information about the film at www.fallawaymovie.com.
Awesome. Well, it was very nice meeting you. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm so glad you had me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, I know you're probably busy because you probably have like a lot of interviews and press days and all that stuff. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.